Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic, and we have a Vanderpump Rules story to get to. Of course, tomorrow night, Wednesday, we're going to have the next episode of Vanderpump Rules, the after reunion show, and then they're going to be picking up cameras and filming the next season. It's an ongoing story. But we've got celebrity Jennifer Lawrence defending Raquel. No, not defending Raquel by saying, oh, what she did wasn't wrong, but saying, okay, it was a little too much. The piling on, it was kind of aggressive. And, we're going to have to come to terms with that. The post-Gladiator blood spill where we go, oh, did we go too far? Because naturally humans always go too far. Individually, we know when to stop sometimes, but collectively we become a greater organism, and that is riots, and in this case, the piling on of Raquel, who clearly was a part of something that was wrong. But as Raquel gave her final interview, we got to see a troubling side of her, a side that's full of a lot of guilt and fear and ostracized from her community. And it's interesting, to say the very least. Let's go into the story right now. So here's what Jennifer Lawrence had to say regarding Vanderpump.
Vanderpump Rules reunion. Have you watched the last episode and thoughts?
Of course. I'm fully caught up. The pile-on Raquel is fair.
Okay, so she says the pile-on is fair.
It's all deserved, but it was hard to watch at the end. It was just like a little too much, like shame, like, ugh.
Okay, so she says it was a little too much. Shame. Of course, coming from the, moral, vacuous crowd of other Vanderpump stars that have all committed different levels of cheating in their world. All right, so interesting. And what's interesting here too is that Jennifer Lawrence starts it off by saying, the pile-on was fair. I thought what they did to her was deserved. It's like you almost have to preface this in today's world because no one wants the bad PR that Howie Mandel got. And I don't even read my comments from you guys on this issue anymore because people are so aggressive in their feelings towards it. My thought remains the same from the second I watched it go down, which is what Raquel did was wrong, but the act of Bravo and Andy Cohen really letting this group of people just yell at her saying she's a nothing human. I mean, like Ariana was upset and we're allowed to react in the way we want to react. She's the victim of cheating. She is the victim there. With that said, I feel I wouldn't be surprised if Ariana regrets her tone when she watches that back. But then again, it's a tough position because this was weeks after, and of course she was still reeling, which is why a lot of times they always say wait to make a statement and things like that because your emotional, where you are is not necessarily an irrational place. Sheena reveals which $1 million question she still has about Tom and Raquel, and then we'll get to Lala in a second. But she said there was one question I still have is, if the affair started at guys' night, why did Sandoval care that Raquel went out with Peter and wanted to know if they hooked up? I definitely think it happened sooner or there was an emotional affair already happened. And of course, the emotional affair is one of those things, like clearly there was an emotional thing happening before. We've gotten into those phrases like an emotional affair. It's kind of hard to know when someone crosses the line emotionally. You hug someone, you feel kind of good. You put your hand on someone's lower back, at what point? Those obviously would be places where you would think that that's emotionally cheating, but of course not at the same degree of the act of physical cheating. I get an interesting text from one Tom Sandoval. He hasn't texted me in 6 months, the SIR manager shared on Kristen's podcast, Sex, Love, and What Else Matters in April, referring to a conversation from earlier that year. And then he texts me and says, and I quote, "Dude, ! Just watched the first episode, LOL, ! Did you bang Raquel the night after SIR? ! Crying, laughing, face. Madrigal continued. If you go through my text messages with Tom, he never texts me emojis, never does. At the time, I am so disconnected, I didn't even think about it. What I'm thinking is, how are they portraying me on the show? So I call him. He was like, oh no, I was just wondering if you banged Raquel that night. So the question was, why would Tom care if he wasn't already with Raquel? Maybe Tom didn't trust Raquel, even though Tom was the one cheating. And then here we have what Lala has to say regarding it all. She says, Tom and Raquel ain't gonna last.
Do you think that these guys are gonna survive, like their relationship's gonna survive? I have my doubts. They said last night they love each other. I don't know. I think that maybe it was a lot of fun and they were kind of like enjoying the lying process, going to get the matching necklaces, going to sort of like lying to your face when you just.
I think it was fun for them.
Yeah.
Most certainly. I think if it were up to her, they would go the distance. I don't know that he's the one to do that with.
He seemed like he might have been looking for an out of the relationship.
Yeah.
So you don't think these guys again? There's no wedding bells, probably.
No. Whoever marries Sandoval, I feel really bad for.
So Ariana then got out of two bad relationships then.
Yeah, I stand by what I said when I feel like the universe, even though it was traumatizing for her, they knew she was tough enough to handle it, and the universe said that night the phone fell out, we're getting you out of here.
I like that. I like the atheist. Well, the universe told her she was going to get cheated on because she could handle it. But I actually agree with Lala there. Spiritually speaking, I feel like maybe Lala and I are on the same page. All right, here's what she had to say about going too hard on Raquel.
Do you feel bad for any of the things you said or did last night? Or like, obviously Raquel deserves everything coming to her, but like, she went to a mental health, institute afterwards, supposedly. So, with that hindsight, do you go, I don't know, she's awful, but maybe we shouldn't have gone to her level, almost.
So in the moment when during the reunion, I felt after I left, I felt dirty. After watching last night, when she finally had the breakdown, just as a human, it was like, if this is, because for me, it's like, it's a reality TV show. I feel like we're all kind of playing the same game.
Yeah.
When I watched that, I was like, oh, we may be dealing with someone who maybe shouldn't be on this type of platform.
You think that maybe reality TV and this spotlight on her for a very bad thing is actually harmful to her mental health? And
I don't think that. It can be rough, and like you have to know that when you're on a show like this, you make bad decisions. These are the things that kind of happen, especially when you're throwing daggers at people while you're doing something like that. You're gonna get the smoke. But she definitely. I don't know how other people feel about the last 5 minutes. But I did sit there and go, oh shit.
When she broke down.
Yeah, she needs some real help, and I hope that she got it.
How does she go forward, continuing to shoot on the show with everything that's happened and then everything that's personally happened, like with her having to go to a mental health retreat? How does she go on and keep, I'm sure you guys will keep coming at her during the new season.
I don't know. There's been a lot of time that it's kind of, I feel like time has passed. I can't answer that for her. I think she needs to isolate and really reflect on what she wants out of life. I mean, at the end of the day, yes, it was not a great thing, but you can come back from this, I just want.
All right, so she says you can come back from this. That's the main question. Could Raquel come back from this? I think if there's a scenario in which Raquel was misled by Tom Sandoval, and I don't know if this is the case, but if she comes out and says, and really throws Tom under the bus and say, he approached me, he gave me drugs, he told me that the relationship with Ariana was just for the show, he told me we can move on from this, he love bombed me. If all of those things are true, and maybe they're not, I could see the women actually feeling for Raquel as a victim of this scenario, a different victim, a victim of Tom's, while also being a willing participant in the cheating. But because it is a reality show where there's a lot of moving parts and storylines, I could see that happening. And of course, here we have Lala Kent wearing her Send It to Daryl shirt, and she was featured in Fortune. Who would have thought reality stars would be featured in Fortune, but no one is monetized like the ladies of Vanderpump. Never let a good Scandival go to waste. Reality TV star Lala Kent talks Vanderpump rules and her quest to monetize every second. All right, so let's see what she said here. Since Scandival broke, it's been breathless fodder for social media and mainstream media alike, but viewers combing through episodes to find hints of the affair, but the cast members have also capitalized on the drama. Since Scandival, Tom's given me so much to work with, and I will be forever grateful. I feel like when life hands you something, you've got to find the silver lining. We're having a moment. We have to monetize every second. Lala, clad in her own merch, said recently over Zoom from her office in Los Angeles. Sandoval didn't cheat on Lala, but she's not a stranger to betrayal of this kind. She left her former fiance, controversial Hollywood producer Randall Emmett. So Lala's talked about the fact that she has made tons of money off of her own merchandise. She said, I had my own situation that was as dark as it gets. when I start fixating on all the time that I feel I wasted because I'm obviously still upset about everything, I just think of Ocean, and of course Ocean being her kid. Ken said at the so conversations with, let's see, what do we want to get to here? Monetization. So there it is. We have to monetize every second, she said. Oh, we already got that. Ahead of the final episode of the 3-part VPR reunion, which airs Wednesday, which was this past week, Lala spoke with the AP about building her brand, friendship, sobriety, and the time she'll work with Al Pacino. Answers have been condensed for brevity. The Vanderpump show really had a resurgence this season, thanks in large part to Scandival, but seasons 8 and 9 were kind of lacking. Were you all worried the show was winding down? She said, I think every season, especially after season 8, when we tried to introduce a new cast, is like maybe we have we maybe lost it? Season 9, we got by the skin of our teeth and people didn't really take to it. Season 10, we really got by the skin of our teeth and it was absolutely incredible. So every season I go into it like I'm going to enjoy this moment because it will never last. And there it is, folks. You've been upfront about your sobriety. Do any of your stressors with your ex or even the drama on the show make you worry about maintaining that? She said, I was already strong in my sobriety. Thank God I became stronger when all of this happened. I know that those days are looming. I'm not saying that I will never have the urge to pick up a drink. I'm only human. So good for Lala. She's a pretty interesting cast member on the show. I personally thought she went too far, and I thought they all went too far in Raquel. I thought you can say your point, but the whole shame aspect, I don't know. Look, shame is a catalyst that absolutely can work. I just think by the time they did this 3-part reunion, they went past the part of shame that works, and it went to at the humanizing level. I know not everybody's going to agree with me on that, but hey, isn't that great? We can have different opinions on the same matter and not hate each other. All right, don't shame me. Do me a favor, follow me on Instagram. I got stand-up show updates coming. Also, if you want to put some bread in my tip jar, go to patreon.com/Dave Neal. And every afternoon, Bachelor Rush Hour, the hit podcast. All of your entertainment news in one place. Every afternoon, Bachelor Rush Hour. We'll see you later.